Beyond the headlines. This is World Insight.
Hello and welcome to World Insight with me, Tian Wei. China is betting on innovation that has brought good results. If you look at the latest China trade portfolio, robotics, artificial intelligence, and innovative medicines are latest winners. No wonder some call them the new three, compared to the new three, namely EVs, lithium batteries, and solar cells. A few numbers to share. In the third week of July, Chinese large language models handled more than 36 trillion tokens, ranking first globally for the 12th consecutive week. In the first half of the year, China exported $930 million worth of industrial robots to 141 countries and regions in the world. That's up over 18% year-on-year. Outbound licensing deals for innovative drugs reached about $110 billion, with Chinese pharma companies involved in 8 of the world's 10 largest deals. All those has become inspiration for today's program. We talked to 3 very different persons on the 3 latest developments in the areas of AI, humanoid robots, and innovative drugs. First, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on China's role in expanding AI access and advancing global governance. Next, Unitree founders and CEO, CTO Wang Xingxing in an earlier conversation with me, who just made the cover of Time magazine on the rise of Chinese humanoid robots. And Sino Biopharmaceutical CEO Xie Chengren on bringing Chinese innovation to patients worldwide. Mr. Secretary General, what a pleasure to see you in Shanghai.
It's an enormous pleasure to be back.
Many see artificial intelligence extremely crucial, but what do you think is the role of the UN in AI governance, and what are the priorities?
Well, our main concern is to have a universal platform where everybody can be involved in the governance of AI. AI cannot be a club of a group of rich countries or a group of very powerful companies. AI is linked to the life of all of us. And so the UN has decided, and China has been very supportive of that initiative, first of all, to create independent scientific panel on AI that will be reporting in total independence, 40 people from north and south, half women, half men, scientists, and they will be reporting regularly and telling us what is happening with AI, what is the reality with AI. And at the same time, we just finished in Geneva a dialogue with all countries, all governments are represented, but also scientists, companies, civil society, in order to have a serious discussion about the governance of AI, trying to find areas of possible consensus, trying to find areas where we agree on some guardrails that need to be respected. And by the way, this is very much in line with what President Xi Jinping did when he proposed the Global AI Governance Initiative. Right. And very much in line, the meeting we had in Geneva with the meeting we are going to have in Shanghai. Exactly on the governance of AI, and hoping to create a group of countries that will play an important role in making sure that AI is for everybody and not for a few privileged ones.
What exactly are these, some of the priorities as you see it?
For me, the most important priority now is to invest in capacity building in developing countries. Because let's be honest, overwhelming majority of the investment that is made today in AI is in the developed countries and China. Every other has practically no investment. And many have no talented people trained, have no infrastructure, have no adequate regulations. And so we need to mobilize the whole of the international community to support developing countries, to build the capacity to be able to take profit of the enormous potential that AI has. And in health, in education, in agriculture, in all aspects that are crucial for development, AI can really allow us to make enormous progress.
China has been supporting and offering the open source LLMs. In other words, people can obtain them and use them at a lower cost, and it can be available to everybody. What do you make of this approach? Is this going to be the way out?
I've always been a supporter of open source. I think it's very important that what is discovered is put at the disposal of the international community as a whole in order to make sure that all can benefit. And China has been very successful with its open source different algorithms and instruments because they are now used by all countries in the world. And even if we consider the other relevant partner in the development of AI, which is the United States, even in the United States, Chinese open source instruments are now used widely by American companies. That shows how important it is to nurture this perspective of AI at the service of everybody.
To be inclusive.
To be inclusive.
Yes. You mentioned about China's global AI governance initiative proposed a few years earlier. China also put out the global AI governance action plan. Of course, these documents are extremely important. How much do you think the discussion is going on?
Let's be honest, we are still in the beginning of a serious capacity of discussing global governance of AI because of the geopolitical divides. And I think the importance of initiatives is exactly to establish bridges, is to bring countries together, because this cannot be done by country. This needs to be done globally. And AI has an enormous potential, but has enormous risks. And it's very important that governments, especially those governments that have a larger capacity, or where are the companies that have a larger capacity, even if sometimes they diverge in many aspects, I think there is a common interest of humankind that there is a serious dialogue to make sure that AI doesn't become an existential risk for our societies.
You and Chinese President Xi Jinping have been talking to each other, meeting one another over the years. What are likely to be the discussions between the two of you and the other leaders?
Well, I'm not going to describe here any discussion, but there is one thing that I am concluding my mandate in the end of the year. I might
Thank you for your service, sir.
Have other opportunities still to see President Xi Jinping, but it might be the last. And I think it's important to express our enormous appreciation as President of China, the strong commitment to multilateralism and the strong commitment to support the UN. And in a world where so many attack multilateralism, in a world where so many violate international law, in a world where so many disregard the need for international cooperation, I think that this example is extremely important. And so I think it is my duty to express my deep appreciation for that.
Earlier, you once said in an interview that many of the initiatives that China brought out actually are quite in line with what the UN had been thinking over the years. Now, do you see those meeting in mind have been meeting in actions?
Well, as a matter of fact, in AI, it is clear. The first resolution on AI in the General Assembly of the United Nations was presented by China and promoted by China. China has strongly supported the initiatives that I mentioned that were approved in the Global Digital Compact, when we approved the Pact of the Future, and when we were able to gather all countries in the world to understand the need for AI governance. So there is indeed an identity of points of view about the need for AI to be something in which we all get together to guarantee that it is an opportunity for development, an opportunity for well-being, an opportunity for us all, and not a risk. Look, one of the things that worries me, look what it is, the possibility of weaponizing AI. Now imagine that we take human beings out of these and you put AI managing the nuclear arsenals. It would be an enormous danger. To keep human agency, to keep the primacy of human agency over artificial intelligence is absolutely essential.
One thing is being asked many times. At a time when technology is developing so fast, why AI governance is so much lagging behind?
It's because of geopolitical divides. It's unfortunately because we see many countries that do not believe in multilateralism, that think that each one can do it by itself, thinking that they might gain an advantage over the others. But AI is a dangerous thing. And so whatever the divides that might exist among countries, the risks of AI are much more important. And so countries need to come together for an effective global governance of AI.
There is going to be a global AI governance body to be established soon. What do you think should be its mandate? What do you think it can play its role for future AI governance?
Now, I would like to see, involving everybody in the world, a permanent body able to at least establish a number of guardrails, of red lines, in order to guarantee that AI remains a force for good.
Mr. SG, thank you so much, as always. And thank you for talking to me over the years when you are serving as the Secretary General of the United Nations. I learned a lot, sir.
It is a pleasure, and it has always been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. 谢谢.
On robots, it works so much with the latest technologies of AI. Where do you think is the trend, and how do you think you can cooperate with the business leaders here?
目前的话 ，AI 是全球都非常关注的一个领域，然后让 AI 真正的去干活，就离不开机器人。
Artificial intelligence is now a global focus, and robots are essential to bringing AI into real-world action around the world, including in China and across the Asia-Pacific. In countries like Japan and the Republic of Korea, there's growing momentum to equip robots with stronger AI capabilities so they can perform real tasks in factories, homes, and beyond. That's why robotics has become such a key area of innovation and cooperation. Ultimately, this is a shared global goal: to empower robots with advanced AI and integrate them into daily life, driving humanity toward the next stage of civilization. While AI has made remarkable progress in language and interaction, the real challenge lies in enabling robots, under AI's guidance, to do things, to work, assist, and create value in diverse environments, from homes to farms to factories. This is where international collaboration becomes vital. The vision is clear and shared. Just as electricity and the steam engine once transformed human civilization, AI-driven robotics can usher in a new era of progress. I believe that within the next 5 to 10 years, this dream is entirely achievable, bringing greater well-being to people around the world.
我觉得是非常有可能的事情。
那从您这个企业的角度，这个 AI 的应用，目前您正在努力哪些方向呢？
我们目前还是非常直接的，就希望在机器人用 AI 驱动机器人更好的做事情。
Our main focus is very clear. We aim to make robots truly capable of doing things through AI. Whether it's dancing, working in factories, or assisting in agricultural settings, our goal is to help AI learn, adapt, and work effectively. This is one of the biggest global challenges today, but also one of the most meaningful. The pace of progress in AI and robotics has accelerated significantly this year compared with last year. I believe that within the next 1 to 2 years, we may see the emergence of truly general-purpose robotic AI, capable of operating in various real-world environments, from shopping malls to offices and homes.
就是它在专属性领域，比如说，专门只是端茶倒水一个工作，或者专门只是说，把一个零部件装在一起，这个目前
The biggest challenge right now lies in generalization. While robots can already handle specific, repetitive tasks well, they still struggle to adapt to complex, unfamiliar environments without retraining. Achieving this level of flexibility, true general intelligence in robots, is what the entire industry is striving for.
在陌生环境下，你不需要重新学习，它都可以去干活了。
那你在每天怎么努力呢？比如说最近的小目标是啥？
公司主要还是偏向硬件领域的，
当然，
我们还是希望给全世界提供更加
On a practical level, since our company focuses on hardware, we're working to provide a better, more reliable robotic platform globally, one that can seamlessly integrate with advanced AI systems. We believe this vision can only be realized through global collaboration. Over the past years, the development of AI, renewable energy, and robotics has always been achieved collectively. No single company can achieve this alone. Our approach is to work closely with global partners and clients to advance robotics together.
So what do you think about, the question really is, how do you look at the cooperation you are having, Unitree is having, with your partners along the supply chains, especially when there are complexities and uncertainties?
对，目前的话，因为机器人领域确实也不是说短短1-2年刚冒出来的事情，它这个时间已经非常长了。
Our company has been around for 9 years, and we've seen steady, healthy growth in the industry. Companies like NVIDIA have provided the foundational chips and software. We focus on making robotics hardware more capable and adaptable, and other companies and research institutions contribute specialized software and AI models. This collective effort from enterprises, universities, and innovators worldwide has driven remarkable progress. Although the industry is still in its early stages, the growth has been rapid and encouraging. Year by year, the advances are visible and substantial. I believe this spirit is not only the most valuable form of collaboration, but also the most effective path toward realizing the ultimate dream of intelligent, human-assisting robots.
那个合作伙伴，所有的大家对这个领域的共同做出来的，而不是单单说我们一家公司或者单单某一家公司的。
You are going to look for the best and most reliable because you have a lot of options.
大家是希望这样，但实际上没有那么好选。
People often want to be selective when it comes to partnerships, but in reality, it's not that simple. Our approach is relatively open, because before you actually start working together, it's hard to tell who will turn out to be the best partner. Especially in the age of AI, it's difficult to judge who's doing better, since AI development is full of uncertainty. Sometimes one company makes a sudden breakthrough, and then another does the same soon after. You can't always predict how things will evolve.
突然另外一家公司出来的东西，很多情况下你不能很好的去预估这件事情。
Talking about that, also, what do you make of the cooperation and competition?
对，我觉得对于像机器人行业，大家也关注到非常火热嘛，说竞争其实也比较激烈。
The robotics industry is booming, but it's also highly competitive. Yet, if we look beyond competition, we'll see that even competitors are part of the same ecosystem. The most important thing is to grow the industry itself, to make the pie bigger. Once the industry expands, questions of competition become secondary.
大家每家公司有很好的融资。
Over the past year, for example, the sector has seen strong growth, increased funding, and expanding market share for many companies. Healthy competition only works when the overall industry is thriving.
这样的话，大家再去有一些相对良性的竞争。
We see some latest trends, for example, a company like yours have done something really fantastic in one field of robotics. And you will see everybody jump onto the same field. And therefore, there's a tremendous competition, sometimes unfriendly, sometimes only about price. However, there are an enormous amount of areas that have not been explored. So as an entrepreneur, what do you make of this phenomenon? How to change this phenomenon for better?
对，目前因为 竞争是不可避免的一件问题，也不可逃避。所以我觉得刚才有提到，最大的点就是我们还是突破边界。
Our goal, therefore, is to expand boundaries, develop new products, explore new markets, and keep growing the scale of the industry. Competition is inevitable, but stagnation is dangerous. If innovation and progress stop, the industry risks falling into an unhealthy cycle.
Eric, good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Pharmaceutical industry, you are a player, an important, very important player. Tell me more about how can China's pharmaceutical industry, not only in delivering in services and also speed, but also the first class.
Okay, so in the topic of first in class, I believe a lot of times right now, China is already stepping from a following position into bringing in novel discoveries. So right now we see there's already two branches in innovation. Number one is finding new modalities to speed up already discovered target to create a lot of best-in-class, right? The other one is actually when there's an early foundational discovery already happened in any of the early researches, then China moves super fast on trying to find the target or the molecule or the modality to that can cope with the new discovery. So the translational. So I think all these two parts are advanced a lot already in China. That already some of the targets. For example, one target that we did is CCR8 is the very first one globally. And then we really have to try to see is like what sector of oncology, which cancer type that it might has the most impact into. So I think all of these, China is bringing more and more novelty already to the pharmaceutical level. But what is even more important right now is over 40% of global clinical trials is already happening in China.
Right.
And then this is why for the past couple of years, MNCs have been, number one, sourcing more and more asset from China. Number two, actually to really maybe find a local partner to accelerate their clinical trial, because it's not only shorten their development time, but also lessen their development cost.
Right.
So in this aspect, I think what China can really bring in is in the future, maybe for phase 1, 2, shifting to entire China market, and then for phase 3, then participate global. So this will really fill unmet needs in the medical area, as well as to bring in innovative therapies to patients who need them in a more faster and more less costly way.
To what degree, faster when you say?
I do think in terms of time, I would say conservatively at least 30%, maybe up to 50% of the time capital can be cut out. Right now for us, we're looking for global partners. What we can really achieve right now with our approval of IND and our first enrollment of patient into phase 3 trial, on average we can complete it in 24 months. So I think this is already a very breakthrough timing compared to like how fast global trial can be there. This is number one. Number two, I think, is on the cost, right? So in terms of costs, right now, one new drug from the early discovery to NDA, it costs 2.6 billion USD. So this is an unbelievable number, and I believe it will continuously increase in the future. So with this cost, I think in China with a mass population, but not only the population, but with the talents really nurtured through the past decades with the right practitioner and also with the public health system that the Chinese government built. I think for all these criteria together, there's China clinical development, I think the status is kind of irreplaceable in the next decade at least. So with all of these plus, I think the costs will also decrease by at least 30% to maybe up to 50% as well.
There has been a lot of talk about whether global companies are in China or in China for the world. Where do you think the wind is blowing right now?
I have to emphasize China is always part of the globe,
Yeah.
right? So when people talk about China innovation, it's also advancing global innovation. So when MNC said if it's in China for China or in China for global, I think definitely it's for both. Because MNCs are MNCs, they're aiming for global market. Right? Whereas China is a significant market as well. So in both ways, I think developing in China means developing with the globe.
Great thought. On AI, there has been a lot of application of AI in the pharmaceutical industry. How much do you think at this moment it can really speed up the research and the clinical trial process? And to what degree the AI plus practice do you think is really workable?
Most of the speeding up is right now happening in the early discovery bits. Maybe before, let's say the PD-1 took up to dozens of years, right? But right now, like if it's happened all over again, it could speed up like by many years. So it really depends. If like finding the early quickest molecule, it can even happen in half a year, right? If not faster. In already existing modalities or therapies, it can even be even faster on improvements of the structure of a molecule, right? If slower, it might still take up a couple of years, but definitely faster than before. So I think this is already seen and already done, but the speeding up in clinical trials right now, I think it's still one of the challenges that we have to overcome.
A lot of things going on at the summer Davos. One of the things is about China innovation. Chinese Premier talk about China is others opportunity 2.0. What's your take?
So definitely, I think it's like there's a lot of innovation in China going on right now. I think definitely is like what everyone is looking at is not only at the manufacturing capability of China right now, but particularly in that of development. So I think it's just like the world right now is looking in China to see is like how development is accelerating, right? So I think not only the speed, so time capital, but also on the cost. China across industry is finding different ways to really accelerate the speed and the quality of delivery. So right now we see a lot of players from the globe. They're afraid of missing out on the, let's say, time capital, resource recapital, on manufacture or on development in particular, to be a part of it. If not sourcing it by themselves, maybe find a local partner to participate and join. So I definitely think that with this capacity, the coming decade is a decade of partnership, whereas China will continuously to be very open to partner with anyone from the rest of the globe. So I think this is correct for all industries, so also including pharmaceutical.
And that is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to know more, search World Insight. Check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on X and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.